right, so question 1, the first question is find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of 24 and 30. Question 2, write the prime factorization of 64. Okay, let's go to question number 3 now. Question number 3, I want you to write down or decide whether the following are prime numbers, or decide which of the following numbers are prime or composite. 84, 79, 17, 2, 4, 61, 99, 101. So you got to decide whether they're prime numbers or composite numbers for question number 4. Question number 4, which of the following numbers are irrational? So question A, part A, 0. You got to choose one. 1, square root of 4, square root of 9, square root of 14, three divided by 0, 2 square root of 2. Press pause, try these questions. When you're done, press play. So looking at these questions over here, the first one, the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of each of these numbers. I could start with the highest common factors. If I find the factors of 24, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. And factors of 30 would be equal to 1, 2, 3 can go into there, 4 can't, 5 can, 6, 3 times 10, 2 times 15, 1 times 30. And we're looking for common factors. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, no, 5, no, 6 is common, 8, no. So we stop at 6. So the highest common factor of 24 and 30 is equal to the number 6. So I found all the factors, and then from there. Multiples of 24 start from 24, 48, 72, 96, 120. Multiples of 30 is 30, starting from 30, 60, 90, 120. And we can see that those two values over there is going to be your lowest common multiple is equal to 120. Like that. Write the prime factorization of 64. Let's use what is known as the ladder method. There could be other methods as well. Well, there are other methods, but let's use the ladder method. 2 goes into 64 32 times. 2 goes into 32 16 times. Let's keep going. 2 goes into the 8, 2 goes into the 4, 2 goes into the 2, 2 goes into the once, and we then stop there. We have how many 2s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2s. So 64 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which will be 2 to the power of 6. Decide which of the following are prime or composite numbers. Now, looking at these numbers over here, prime numbers are definitely not even, right? So except 2. So composite, composite, and 2 is definitely a prime number. Between the odd numbers, if you look at the number 79, 7 plus 9 is equal to 16, and 16 comes to the number 7, which is most likely not going to be a number which is divisible by 6 or 9. Looking at divisibility rules, there are quite a few different divisibility rules. Does it end with an even number? Does the number add up to a certain number? All right. And 79, I can see definitely can't divide it by 3. Because if I divide it by 3, I'll have 19 or 29 or 39. That's my best bet if I had to, at any point in time, think about that. Now, do you know your divisibility rules? Is the next question. A number that's divisible by, let's have a look at a quick synopsis of divisibility rules. Okay. So looking at rules of divisibility, a number is divisible by 2 if the last digit is even or 0. 3 if the sum of the digits are divisible by 4. If the last digit or last 2 digits, the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. Sorry, let's go back there again. So some of the digits are divisible by 3. And the next one, the last 2 digits are divisible by 4. Five, remember, if it ends in 0 or 5, it's divisible by 5. 6, the number is divisible by both 2 and 3. By 2 and 3 at the same time. So then 9, the sum of the digits is divisible by 9. Divisible. So this one will have a sum, and this one also has a sum. Divisible by 9. And 10, obviously, the last digit has 0. Then it's divisible by 10. And you could use this as a tool, because remember, even numbers will then pull out all the composite numbers, and odd numbers, we're looking at numbers that can't be further divisible, like 3 or 9. And the sum of the numbers, generally, if they're 3 or 9, is the most often case where we start applying those rules. Okay, so let's go through this again. We're going to go prime number, definitely over there. 17 is also a prime number. 61 is a prime number as well. 99 is a composite number because you can divide it by 3. And 101 is a prime number as well. Which of the following numbers are irrational? The first thing is, an irrational number cannot be written as a fraction. So what does that mean? It means, like, for example, this can be 0 over 0. This can be 1 over 1. This can be 2 over 1. And this can be 3 over 1. This you cannot square root. So that's an irrational number. This number is divisible by 0. This is actually a non-real number. It does not exist. It's not irrational. This is the same as 2 times square root 2, and that number is irrational. And 2 times an irrational number is still irrational. So definitely G as well. All right, let's go to the next round of questions. All right, so there's the next 4 questions. Question 5 is an absolute value question. Question 6, BADMAS. Question 7, word problems using integers. Question 8, arranging fractions or rational numbers in ascending order. Press pause, try it. When you're done, press play just now. Okay. The first one is, when we find the absolute value of negative 12, it becomes positive 12, and positive 12 is definitely greater than 6, so that answer will be true. When we're calculating BEDMAS, we will start from the brackets first, but then we have to start from multiplication. So we start from the brackets, but obviously that means we have to actually start from the multiplication, step 0. And that means that this becomes negative 12 plus 6 in a bracket. So negative 3 plus that minus 12 becomes negative 3 plus, and negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6. And then plus and minus becomes a minus, so negative 3 minus 6 minus 12 will become a negative 9 minus 12, which is negative 21. All right, so that's negative 21. And that's the final answer there. The leaderboard at Seaside Golf Tournament shows that Byron's score is 3. Let's put it as the letter B. Byron's score is 3, and Martha's score is 1. Let's put it as M equals 1. How many more strokes did Byron take, or Brian, sorry, not Byron, Brian take than Martha? So what that means is saying that how many more strokes did Brian take? So how much more is 3 from 1? And the answer is 2, because 3 minus 1 equals 2. Put the number in ascending order, showing all your working for this question. What you have to do is try and bring all the numbers into a common denominator as far as possible. Now we know that if I make this into 120, can 16 divide into 120? That's the question. So let's suppose I had to actually divide 16 in. Nope, it will not divide into 120. But 16 would possibly divide into 240. So if I change each of the denominators into 240, I would multiply this by 10. I would multiply this by 12. I would multiply this by 2 by 15. And I would multiply this by 240. So on that token, I would multiply the top by 10, I would multiply the top by 12, multiply the top by 240, multiply the top by 15. That'll become 60, that'll become negative 36, that'll become negative 480, and 12 times 15, let's see what that is, 180. Ascending order, remember, means to go from small to big. So if that's the case, then the smallest number over here is going to be negative 2. So that's going to be that number, then that one, then that one, and then lastly that one. So let's start with that. So the answer is going to be negative 2. Then number 2 is 3 over 20. Number 3 is 6 over 24. And number 4 is 12 over 16. So that's the only number that's in the correct place for that one. Let's have a look at some fractions. And just a bit of a lowdown of some fractions. Okay, so question 1. Well, let's call the topic fractions first. So this is going to be, let's say, 6 over 9 plus 1 over 3. Please show all your working for these questions. 2 and 4 fifths minus 1 and a third. 4 eighths multiplied by 2 ninths. 2 and 15 over 20 divided by 3. All right. Show all your working. Give it a go. When you're done, press play. All right, let's go through this next one. The first one, I've got a common denominator. I'm going to multiply 6 times 3, I'll get 18. 9 times 1 will be 9. And then 9 times 3 will be 27. And 18 plus 9 is 27 over 27. And so that comes to 1. And you could solve it in another way as well. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 4 is 14 over 5. 1 times 3, 3 plus 1 is 4 over 3. And exactly the same principle. 3 times 4 gets you 42. 5 times 4 gets you 20. And 3 times 5 is 15. So we could put that over 15. And 42 minus 20 comes to 22 over 15. I cannot divide that any further. So that'll be my final answer. I could move it back into a mixed number. So 1 remainder, 7 over 15, which you cannot divide any further. Here we multiply across. 4 times 2 gets you 8. 8 times 9 gets you 72. 8 goes into 72 9 times, so 1 over 9. Then we got 2 times 20, which will give you 40 plus 15, which will give you 40 plus 15, 55 over 20. So I'm converting this first. I'm first converting this. And then after that, you can see I'm going to multiply it now. But I'm going to tip in times it, because it's not just multiply by 3. Because when you're dividing, what we do is we change the division into multiply. And because this is as a fraction, we're going to tip it over and write it as 1 over 3. That becomes 55 over 60. Divide by 5 on both sides. That'll be 11. 5 goes into 60, 12. It'll become 11 over 12. 2 times 20 is 40. 40 plus 15 is 55. 55 over 20 times 1 over 3 will become 55 over 60. So it's going to be my final answer there. So 11 over 12 for question number 4. Remember that we have to tip n times. So this is where we tip it over, tip over this fraction, and then we make this into times. If you don't tip over the fraction, then 3 goes to the top and multiplies by 55. It'll change the answer, but as well. All right, let's look at the next thing now, which is standard form. The first question, we want to convert from ordinary numbers into standard form. Okay, so the first question is convert to standard form. Okay, so that's question 1. So that's this is A. This is going to be 623,400, and B 0.12005. Convert into standard form. Question number 2. Which of the following is greater? All right. Choose, is it greater than, less than, greater than, or equals to for this question? Okay. So comparing numbers, put it in a box, place it in a box. I got 4.85 times 10 to the power of 2. I got 4.85 times 10 to the power of 1. Question number 3. Question 3. Multiplying numbers in standard form. If I got a question where I have to multiply numbers in standard form, suppose I've got 2 times 10 to the power of 4 and 3 times 10 to the power of 1. Write your answer in standard form as well. And the last question from standard form. Dividing numbers written in standard form. Okay, so this one is multiplying. So if I've got 8 times 10 to the power of 5 divided by 1 times 10 to the power of 1, What will that come to? All right, give it a go. Press play when you're done.